welcome to the channel. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I'd like you guys to join me today for a full review on the Seamaster No Time to Die Homage by Phylida. Now I did an unboxing a few weeks back and this watch left such a great impression on me. It is a very good watch. Looking at it in the unboxing, I recognized it straight away. As soon as you take this watch out of the box, it has been made really well with great attention to detail. I do know there are quite a few reviews on YouTube on this watch, so I will try and make this as comprehensive as possible and try to cover all aspects of the watch. Now this watch in particular is the PT 5000 version, and they also do a cheaper alternative with the Miyota 8000 series movement. Now the price difference, the Miyota will set you back £92 or approximately $130, but the high B PT 5000 version will only set you back £130 or $180. So straight away you can tell this watch is going to be incredible value for money. So as per usual, we are going to start off by looking at the specifications, the dimensions. I'll talk a little bit about the movement as well, as I have put it on the time grapher, and then we'll go into the smaller, finer details and really break those down and get into how good this watch really is. So the specifications, this watch has a full 316L stainless steel construction on the case, bracelet, case back, crown, etc. You also have a double dome AR coated sapphire crystal. Now I think the AR coating is clear, as I can't see that annoying blue hue that you get sometimes. Now they've also upgraded this watch with a matte ceramic bezel inset. Personally, I love that they've done this. I think it just makes it look just a lot better. The water resistance on this watch is 200 meters. You've got a screw down crown, screw down case back. You've also got a screw down helium escape valve, and the watch weighs in at 180 grams. Now with regards to water resistance and the helium escape valve, you know, these are Homage watches. They don't go through any stringent testing. I'm not 100% confident that they test them to 200 meters. So, you know, I would just take these watches as they are, so take that as you will. Now while we are on the topic of specifications, let's talk just a little bit more about the actual movement. So this is a Chinese clone of the ETA Swiss movement. So this watch in particular gives you a 38-hour power reserve. It's got a beat rate of 28,800 beats per hour, so it gives you this really smooth sweep of 8 ticks a second. Now the watch also gives you complications of a date, and you also get hack and wind functionality. So with regards to reliability, I think it's too early to say. Now I have a full video on the PT 5000 movement. So the manufacturers of the movement did manage to actually get a particular movement chronometer certified out in Germany. However, I would say all the other watches, the movements that actually come out of factory, they do have a tolerance of plus or minus 12 seconds a day. Now this watch in particular, I'll put up some pictures what this is running. I checked it through 4 different positions. So crown, dial up, crown down, crown up, and dial down, and the average was around 6 seconds fast a day. As you can see, the beat rate ran 0.2, and it did go down to 0 with the crown up position. So there's not much fluctuation between the watch. However, I would say between the different positions there is a slight bit of variation. So you get from 8 seconds going down to 5 seconds. So it's not too much, and I think the movement is okay. There are a few problems with the movement which are known to everyone, and those are actually pertaining to a particular aspect of the watch, which is basically poor oiling, poor lubrication, where once you do hand wind the watch, the rotor actually spins with it. So again, I think, you know, it's a Chinese made movement. I think the quality control, that's I think where the problem is going to be. But having said that, I think on the whole, the majority of people are actually happy with the movement. So you do get a clone Swiss movement with a higher beat rate, which I think from NH35s, people consider that to be the next step up. Now, using that movement with the current specifications, you know, it is, you do get a lot of watch for £130. So that's the first thing that you will see, that this watch from Phylida gives you absolutely amazing and very incredible value for money. Let's look at the size of the watch. So dimensions are as follows. The case diameter is 41 millimeters across. You've got a lug to lug of 46.5, and you've got a thickness of 14.5. The bracelet lug width is 20mm, and there is no taper on the bracelet, and at the clasp it still measures 20mm. Now, one of the nicest features about this watch is indeed that dial, and the detail present on the dial lets you know instantly how well this watch has been made and the attention to detail that is present. Now, you have a matte black dial with applied hour markers and printed text. Underneath the 12 o'clock, you've got the printed Phylida logo, and above the 6, you've got automatic water resistance, and in red, you've got 660 foot, 200 meters. Now, above the 6 o'clock indice, you've also got a color matched upwards facing arrow. Now, you've also got printing present around the dial, the minute track, and what I do like, with respect to the original, is how they've done the minute markers between the individual hour markers. You've got a grouping of the minute markers, which I think that does look really nice with the dial. Now, with regards to the applied hour markers, you've got this old radium loom style application, and you've got twin baton indices at the 12 o'clock. 6 o'clock, you've got a baton as well as the 9. At the 3 o'clock date window, you've got a color match date wheel, and you've got, a quarter of the baton just to try and maintain some sort of symmetry. And you also have circular hour markers in between the 12, 3, 6, and 9. Now, you've got a polished frame applied to the hour markers, and you've also got a chamfering present within the date window, which is actually on the dial. Now, on the camera, you can't see that too well, but in hand, you could definitely see that. And again, going back to that great attention to detail. Now, let's turn our attention to the handsets. So you've got on the second hand, a lollipop style second hand with that red tip, which stands out on the dial. Of course, it matches the red text where it says 200 meters, but it also gives you that bit of contrast, just so you can follow that second hand and just increase that legibility on the dial. Now, the minute and the hour hand are polished and chamfered, and you've got great detail present on the hands. You'll see a circular dot placed on top of the hour hand, and on the minute hand, you've got a triangle, and you've got applied loom on there, and also along the sides of the skeletonized sword hands, you've also got applied loom. In terms of quality and finish, to the naked eye, I can't see anything defective. I can't see any scratches, etc. on the hands. And, they do catch some light due to the chamfering. So you do get some nice, reflections on the hands. And I think overall the handset and the dial has been done incredibly well. There's no misprints. Everything is clear, very legible, and again, the way that it homages the original Seamaster No Time to Die, I think they've done a great job in trying to be as true to the original as they can. Now, with regards to luminosity, as mentioned, this is the old radium style of loom. Of course, it isn't actually old radium. So this is a lot less brighter than the C3 Super Luminova. I believe it might be C1, or sometimes you see on the specs it says C3X1. And the thing with this loom is, again, don't expect Super Luminova level. It's not as bright. It is quite dull. But, the loom is present. Again, I don't take that away from Phylida. It's just the fact that in order to get this effect, I had to use this loom, and every watch that uses this type of loom, that's what you get. You don't get anything better. So it's okay. Initially I did hit it with a UV lamp, so you do get that initial bit of brightness, but that quickly disappears after about a minute. Now, this video was taken over 2 minutes, and you can see that it does dull down within those 2 minutes. So it's not a loom monster. I don't think you should look for this color option or look for this style of loom in particular if you do want something that's really bright, really legible, and it's got great longevity. Now, looking at the bezel crystal a lot closer, you'll see good fit and finish on the crystal, just protruding ever so slightly. And the better thing for me on this watch is, what I really do like, is this matte effect. I believe it's ceramic, just haven't checked it out. It's definitely not aluminium. So looking at the markers, it's been done really well. Again, very clear. There's no distortion present, and again, I think this might split a few people, because a lot of people do like that shiny, glossy ceramic bezel insert. I actually like that they've gone a bit different. Now, the pip at the 12 o'clock set really nice. It's not all flush, it's not protruding substantially, and you can't feel any sharpness, so it's pretty smooth. It's been done well, and as you saw, it is also illuminated. So yeah, nice touch with the bezel from Phylida. I like it, I gotta say. And now let's look at the detailing present on the actual bezel. I love the scalloping here. It's fully brushed. and smooth, no sharp edges, and the machining that really does stand out on this watch. It's been machined really well. So now let's check out the bezel. It's a 120 click unidirectional bezel, and now here we go, what we've all been waiting for. Okay, so accuracy wise, feel, rotation, etc. Yes, it's all there. There's no play in the bezel. There's no lateral play. It's actually been fitted really well. It's quite tight, quite firm as well. The only thing is, there's not much grip present. So if you've got, slightly sweaty fingertips, etc., it's not going to be as grippy as you need it to turn it. But it sits perfectly, great alignment, and again, no back play. And I'm going back to Phylida. I'm very impressed with these sort of features. There's a lot of homages out there. You've got the Pagani, you've also got the Heimdallr, and you've got Bleegers, and you've got all those brands out there. But that build quality is through and throughout present on this watch, and that's why I'm so impressed by it. So let's rotate the bezel just a little bit more. No problem at all. It's a very good bezel indeed, and I think a lot of people will actually be happy with this. Now let's turn our attention to just look at the detailing present on the case. Now this case is, of course, because it's homaging the Seamaster, it is very similar to that. Now it's also very similar to the Heimdallr. I will be doing a comparison, in the near future on the Pagani, on this, and the Heimdallr indeed. But just going back to focus on this, great machining, great finishing. So you've got polished A-face right here down to the twisted lugs, and I like the chamfering on the inside of the lugs, which is, again, it's actually brushed, so you get a decent transition between that brushed chamfered edge there between the polished sides of the case and the lugs. So you got good highlights. You're going to get a nice fair bit of nice light play, and this is what I look at, the finer, the smaller details, how far these brands are willing to go to get a very nicely finished watch. So just to reiterate, brushed outer bezel, polished lugs, the insides are slightly brushed, and then turn the watch on the side. Along the crown guards, you've got polishing, but on the side of the watch, you've got this really nice curve where it's been fully brushed. We turn the watch around. You've got a brushed case back, circular brushed, very plain. Even on the crown, you've got no signage. You've got no logo on the clasp, which I don't mind. I actually don't mind that. I don't really, we really have a big problem with the name of Phylida, so I wouldn't really want to see that on the crown, and also the case back. For me personally, that isn't necessary, but what I do like to see on the case back, I would like to have seen just the specifications, something normal that you see, and maybe, I don't know, something in the clasp, but it doesn't really take away. As I said, I'd rather not have Phylida on there. I'd rather that it stay blank. But focusing back on the case, no sharp edges. You've also got just a slight bit of polishing along the bottom, linear brushing across the sides. I must say, it feels really nice in hand. No sharp edges, and it's been done to a very good level. Now let's look at the crown, how easy it is to take the crown in and out. The crown can do with more grip. It's not as easy to grip, to be honest. The splines don't really protrude too much, which I think you do need. You do need that to get just good grip of the crown. Here, you do have a slight bit of struggle screwing it in, but aside from that, it's okay. The helium valve, again, it's been done well. It's been done nice, and it does function in the sense that it screws out and it screws in. But again, in terms of, is it real, does it actually work, it might do, but to be honest, it's a 200-meter watch, and I think you normally find these on the 500 meters and above. Now this is, I think, the difference here, the discrepancy. I'm sure the Seamaster is actually a lot more water resistant, where this has gone for 200 meters. So, you know, it is what it is, I suppose. Let's move on to the bracelet. Now, the bracelet, again, it left me kind of speechless. I was really impressed with the quality of the bracelet. And you've got solid end links. Just look at the fit and finish. It fits in really nice. It doesn't protrude just slightly, but that's due to the shape. And as you can see, the brushed sides, fully brushed. You've got the edges of the center links here, which are polished, but these are like half links. So you can have really nice articulation. It is going to be very comfortable, and you can also see screw-in links. Moving on to the clasp, a fully brushed clasp, milled scissor style clasp, but again, homaging the Omega style. You got spring pushers on the sides. Functionality, yes, it does work. It works really well. It's got a satisfying click. Engages absolutely fine. Now you also got a wetsuit extension here, which I also really love. Not that I'm going to be using it, but it works. It's present on the clasp. So I'm very impressed with the bracelet. They're giving us, you know, everything that we ask for or that we need on a bracelet. It's not some kind of cheap bracelet. And considering the overall price of the watch, you get everything that you could want. Now, you know, being honest with you guys, when I ordered this watch, I thought, yeah, it's gonna have, you know, it's gonna have a poor bracelet. It's gonna have poor this. I wasn't too sure about the bezel, but credit to Phylida, you know, where they are sourcing these cases and the factories they're using. They are trying well. They are trying hard, actually, to give us a very good value for money watch. I think all that remains now is to try it on. So wrist check, I went with just a grab and go, a quartz Seiko chronograph, and this is the old school Daytona Mark II Homage. Well, it's called the Mark II Daytona. Doesn't really look like the Daytona from Rolex. However, that is what the nickname is. But yeah, very nice watch. Just a quick, easy one today. Let's put this to the side. And let's try on this Phylida. That sits so nice. Great curve on the case. Great fit. Centers on the wrist. My wrist is 6.5 inches. And 41mm diameter is spot on. And you can see the whole watch case sits pretty centered on the wrist. Bracelet is very comfortable. So yeah, I'm very impressed, and that's come from someone who does not like the looks of the Seamaster. And this watch doesn't actually appeal to me. Like, I've had the Pagani in hand, I've also had the Heimdallr in hand. So between them, this clearly stands out. On that note, I will be doing a comparison between all three and just see, you know, what is overall the best value for money. But I've got a positive feeling that it's going to be the Phylida. You know, they do a sterile version, so if you don't want the Phylida dial. The thing is, sterile dials only work on some watches. I do like to see something present under the 12. If it was sterile, it just looks a bit blank to me, like it's missing something. But, you know, that's the decision you got to really make. They've done really well on this watch. You hold this watch, there's not a lot to actually complain about. It's just perfect for a Seamaster Homage, I guess. You know, when the price comes into it, £130, $108, you are getting a lot of watch for your money. Everything works. Everything is just built really well. So huge credit to Phylida, I must say. So that's it for the review. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comment section if you indeed would like to see the comparison between the Heimdallr and the Pagani. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next review.